guys, it's Corbin Stuckey at PixelTalk. I'm joined by Dylan and Jacob, and we are here to give you our spoiler review of Rogue One, A Star Wars Story. So if you have not seen Rogue One, X out of this video, either go watch my spoiler-free review that's on YouTube right now, or go watch Rogue One and come back and watch the spoiler review of Rogue One. So we saw the movie together, and we're just going to be talking about it. We're going to be going in-depth into what we thought about it. We're going to be talking about scenes like Darth Vader and little Easter eggs and stuff like that, and we're just going to be, you know, dabbering into this. So let's get started. So do you guys want to go ahead and just before we get started, tell them about yourselves and your YouTube channels, or?
Yeah, sure.
All right, cool.
Yo, what's up, guys? My name is Dylan, and I have a channel called Alternative Indian, and on the channel we do music interviews, and you can find it at Alternative Indian on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, and you can subscribe on YouTube.
Jacob?
Cool. Alright, so my name is Jacob Wade Wells. I'm the owner of J. Wade Productions. It's a film production company based off St. Joseph, Michigan, and also here in Orlando, Florida. You can check out my channel. It's got little silly skits and stuff on there I've done in my backyard, and it's pretty great stuff.
And I'm Corbin of PixelTalk. You guys know what I do. So yeah, we saw the movie last night all together, and overall I thought it was pretty good.
It was good. It was bad, but you know, it was good.
It was
it had its
Les
moments.
Mis. I felt like, you know, that's the way I put it in a nutshell. It was just death everywhere.
Yeah.
Death everywhere.
But good death. I mean, it
was good death.
medieval.
It was a good movie.
Ending sucked, but it was good.
I think we should probably kind of just say in this spoiler review, everyone dies.
Yeah. Everybody dies.
Everyone dies in this movie.
Yeah.
Except for the cool people. They don't die.
What cool people?
Like Darth Vader.
Well, of course,
Darth Vader,
yeah.
and the guy with the head who's
the guy, which
What guy with the head are you talking about?
He was like, I got your plans. I came through the me. Remember that guy?
No.
What are you talking about?
The guy, the big frog dude, who receives the plans.
Oh,
yeah.
It's a trap.
Yeah.
It's a trap. That guy. Yeah.
That guy.
Of course. Yeah. Okay. So basically, they have a way of saying in this movie, the reason why these characters are not in the original trilogy of Star Wars,
Because they all die.
They all die. Yeah. And every one that you see, in episodes 4, 5, and 6, they're in the original trilogy because they didn't die in Rogue One. So I feel as though a lot of these characters that were presented to us in this movie were very disposable. You could just tell they weren't focusing on.
You didn't get attached to them.
You didn't get attached because
and you hated them the whole time.
We didn't hate them. Well, there was one. Yeah, there was the main guy that just kind of.
Cassian.
Yeah, he kills in this movie, and it's just out of nowhere. Especially in that first scene where he just shoots that one guy. It's that was random.
And Jin's backstory is kind of just
yeah.
Okay,
here's a mom and a dad.
A mom and a dad. I'm a little British girl who has got
white
parents who talk with normal Americans, and then you got a little British girl. It's who's been living in a cave forever. It's okay, how did you get that accent? It's
yeah, I thought that was really weird.
And I did not understand the stormtrooper action figure she had.
Yeah,
I knew that her parents worked for the Empire, but why have a little doll?
Yeah, I feel if I was the dad, I'd take that away from her. Hey, this is not something that we look up to. Why would she still have that?
It's they literally got killed by the Death Troopers too.
It's weird.
Yeah, I thought that I could see what he was trying to do. He was kind of trying to put some irony in that scene where this is something that she's been playing with for a little while, and then here's the actual thing coming up, killing your parents.
Yeah, and giving the contrast of a Death Trooper holding a Stormtrooper, it's kind of interesting.
Yeah, it's very odd.
Visually it made sense, and just style-wise I got it, but story-wise it doesn't make any sense, because if I was the father, I would take away that doll from that little girl, because the Empire.
And then when her parents and stuff are taken away and killed and stuff, then there's this godfather character that was completely unnecessary to bring to the entire story, because he had really no purpose at the beginning or middle of the story.
Yeah, he was
he was just easy to kill.
The only reason why he was in it was to be almost a connection to her father. So the rebellion sent what was the rebellion's guy name?
Cassian.
Cassian.
And
Yeah, they sent Cassian to go get Jin, so that she could be freed from whatever imprisonment she was in, because she was imprisoned because, she's an outlaw, I guess. And then
in that scene, we are introduced to my favorite character, which is the new droid that we were introduced to, Kay. He is awesome, but in the rest of the movies, like there's like millions of these droids, and this is like the first time we've ever seen them.
Yeah, so it's kind of odd. It's like where have they been in this whole series?
Yeah, and there's like a bunch of them in the movie, and then once you watch 4, 5, and 6,
like where'd they go?
Yeah.
They're all gone.
Yeah,
and they couldn't have killed them all because they were all different places.
Yeah, I think it's also safe to say that one of the many problems that I have with the movie was like, you know, the characters, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, when you leave the original trilogy of like 4, 5, and 6, you know the characters. Like, you can name them off: Luke, Leia, Han Solo. After watching this movie, I can't, like, besides Jin,
I forget people's
yeah,
names.
it's not like a single character you
It's like
really
Darth
remember.
Vader and
yeah.
Jin.
We went to Walmart after watching the movie. We went to the toy section, looked at the toys. It's like we didn't see these characters. We don't even remember who they were in the movies because like they were so forgettable, and it was
like the only characters that were really memorable was Kay, the robot, and then Jin.
And the Chinese guy, I don't even remember.
I didn't know his name. He was awesome though.
Like, they were very like cool characters. Like, what they did visually in the story was really cool. Like, this guy had a machine gun. This guy was like a blind samurai dude with a staff. Like, visually they were really, really cool. But as far as like the inner characters,
with the Force and the Force is with me.
Yeah. I like that. I like how he like prayed to the Force. Like, I was talking about that in my spoiler-free review. I like how the Force was presented as like this religious kind of thing.
I mean, it's always been like that, but it was never really a prominent thing.
Another funny thing was with the casting. It was all like completely like a melting pot. Like there was, they pretty much threw in all these different, you know.
And then they all tied in somehow, and they all helped each other.
Yeah.
But they succeeded, but they failed at the same time.
And it also helped them gain a larger audience of different, you know, ethnicities and such.
What was that part in the movie where like the stormtroopers are walking on the beach and they're like, "Did you hear about the droids? Like they're being called back or whatever, or something like that." He said something.
No,
like,
it was about the form of guns. It was the original form of guns that they had. At least that's what I believe, because it was like K something, I remember. But when I was reading up on it, it was like they were recalling some type of gun or some type of droid. I don't really remember, but it was that, and they were thankful for that because they sucked apparently.
I thought they were talking about like the original droids from like the prequel trilogy. Maybe that's what they were talking about.
You're gonna
look that up?
I can look that up. Yeah.
All right.
Look up the guy's name too. That Korean dude.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah. As far as like everything else goes, like this, like I said, like we've been talking about, like the movie itself, the story is really good, and I like how it just kind of connected to the original trilogy, especially Episode 4. You saw that, but in terms of like just the characterization and everything, especially like Jin, like you were talking about how she came into contact with her guardian or whatever. Without that guardian being present in the movie, we would have no idea. Like, we would have no idea, like, because like if
there's a lot of plot holes too. Yeah, like, where is she? How did she get caught?
And who are the tan stormtroopers? We never saw those before.
Like when we fast forward, like she's just like agile. She's like almost like really good at what she does. Like she's like a fighter. That's not really explained either.
Yeah, so we don't know how she became a fighter. We don't know how she became so inept to all those skills and stuff.
The
and
first
yet
time
she's
we see her as
in
an
jail.
adult, she's in jail.
She's in jail.
And
How
the
did she
last
get
thing
there?
we see her, she's in a car going to a work.
The question
to a
is,
labor camp.
why would she be in jail if she was a good person? And
Yeah.
the only reason why she's fighting for the rebellion was for her father.
Well,
at first it was for her freedom.
Okay, like it's led to believe that she was trained by her guardian. Like, her guardian was like a Rebel Alliance guy, right?
But he ditched her when she was 16.
Yeah.
So
yeah, but the problem, like, I can understand why she is in jail because like she is like, you know, this is the Empire. The Empire just like arrests like people who are against them. But the problem is like when the Rebel Alliance like break her out and she's like fighting them. Like, I didn't get that either. Like, why is she like fighting the Rebel Alliance? Like, that wasn't really explained whatsoever. It's like, it's because we don't really know much of the backstory about these characters. So we don't know why she's like fighting the Rebel Alliance when they're breaking her out. We don't know why she's in jail. We don't know why she's like there's like such a disconnection between her and her guardian. We don't know why her guardian like really left her. Apparently because like they found out that she was the daughter of this guy like building the Death Star. But I feel as though there are better ways that could have been handled. Like, you didn't just have to like give her a gun and just leave her. Like, it's just nothing is really explained character decision wise in this movie. Really,
it could have been longer. It was a short film. It was pretty short.
It was like 2 hours long, but I feel as though
it could have been longer. I mean, like you know, Episode 3 was really long.
Yeah.
And there was one lightsaber,
Yeah.
Which was very
One
disappointing.
lightsaber and a crap load of lightsaber crystals.
Oh,
Yeah,
man.
it was like literally like 1 second with Darth Vader. So you saw him
With red eyes.
whip out the Darth. Yeah, and yeah, Darth Vader was completely different in this movie. It's like, okay, so when did his outfit change? No leather. It was all cloth. He had like this weird neck thing going on, and his eyes were red and like bulby.
He was in some type of water chamber on Mustafar.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
really strange. Like he went into like his like robotic body or some, or some whatever. But he also, his voice was a lot higher than like it usually is. I don't know, it was an actor's decision or if it was a directing decision or if they just put that through post differently. But it just, he spoke so fluently and it didn't come across as like he was just like, burned to death. We would expect him to talk a lot slower, especially with his breathing and everything.
and they kind of like played on the Darth Vader breathing with Jin's guardian or like Godfather character because he had like this breathing apparatus.
Yeah.
And he was like.
Yeah, so
It's
like in the
he's
trailers they
dying
made it look like he was the
continuously,
villain too.
Yeah, it
like
was
when I
really
first saw
weird.
the trailer for
He
Rogue
reminded
One,
me
I was like,
of-
is that Darth Vader?
He reminded me of the guy in the movie Treasure Planet.
Oh, yeah.
The villain in Treasure Planet.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the way that he came off in like the trailers was he was the villain and he was the one who was like, "Are you going to become what you want to be?" And I was like,
Are you here to kill me? Of course I am.
It was and like yeah, it was like that's another thing with what's his name, Cass.
Okay, so the two things that those guys were talking about, the two stormtroopers, the K2SO is they're going to be recalled. So K2SO is what K is.
Yeah, the robot.
computer droid.
Okay.
And they're being recalled, so that explains why they're not in the other movies. So okay,
All
that
right,
makes
yeah.
a little bit more sense now.
Yeah.
Looking up the facts.
Look at the
That's what we're here to
facts.
give you.
I mean, besides, like, I get, like, you guys were a little bit different about Darth Vader and, like, his look. I mean, even though it was, like, really little, like, type of things that you guys, like, poked at, I still saw Darth Vader, and I was really glad, especially that last scene in the movie where it was,
The last scene is the best scene, I think,
The best
to me,
scene in the whole movie.
yeah, it's
When
really,
they start A New Hope, it's beautiful.
yeah, like, we saw Darth Vader, and we see him, he's, like, a ruthless guy. He's, like, killing those rebel soldiers and everything in that ship. He's got
And
the
then-
lightsaber, and it was so freaking sick.
It was beautiful.
And the way that he used the
It
Force
was so
really
fluent.
weird. But
Yeah,
he did it.
when he first chokes out a guy, he's facing the opposite direction, but his hand is all the way down to his side, and it's like a little tiny cup, and it's not like that, and it.
Show it on the camera. Okay.
So when he does it, he's at his side, and he's like this, and not like this, and I'm like, I don't understand that. And it didn't look right with the shoulders either because they were like really broad,
Looked really big.
Yeah, and he walked like this. I was like, no,
Yeah,
it's
he had a
not
lot
Darth
of
Vader.
swagger.
But it was interesting.
Some interesting
It was very
directing
interesting.
decisions.
You know, I was actually thinking about this like 20 minutes ago. Like, I felt like maybe C-3PO and R2-D2 should have been more in this movie.
Yeah, what they were in the movie, it was really, really short, and it kind of hinted that Luke has been found, and that Ben Kenobi and stuff was talked to by the guy that said he was gonna go find Luke. Not Luke,
Leia's father.
What's his name? The guy who went to go find Ben Kenobi. He's like, yeah, I know a guy. And he's like, I'm gonna go find him. And I was like, oh, he's gonna go get Ben Kenobi. Then
Yeah.
we see C-3PO and R2-D2, and it's like, okay, so that happened. So now we kind of know what's going on there.
Yeah.
I like the
It
cameo though.
kinda
I
makes
think it
sense.
was a nice little cameo
Yeah.
that kind of made fans like, oh, now I can buy that toy in the store.
But it was interesting because C-3PO and stuff foreshadowed A New Hope. But then at the very end of the movie, it started at the beginning of New Hope. So it kind of says that, okay, Luke and stuff happened before Leia, like, got the chip with the message and stuff. She
Well,
needs
okay,
something.
okay. Here's the thing. I think what's going on here is like he's going off to find Obi-Wan Kenobi, like in the movie. But the time where like Leia gets like the message, like he hasn't reached Obi-Wan Kenobi yet. He's just still like traveling to talk to Obi-Wan.
Okay,
Kenobi.
okay.
Yeah.
I got my facts wrong here. I'm thinking back now. I had this all messed up in the first place. The C-3PO and R2-D2 were a part of the Rebels.
Yeah.
And
they were on the ship.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that makes more sense to me now. Because for some reason I was thinking differently about it. Like they were Luke's droids, but no, Luke's uncle buys those droids. So
Yeah.
that makes more sense.
Yeah, they
to
started
me.
off on the ship, and then they have to
when
go in the escape pod.
Yeah, when the pod crashes.
Yeah, and then Luke buys them, and then that's kind of the point where Luke meets Obi-Wan, and Obi-Wan's like, "This is my droid."
Had that all wrong.
Yeah, he's like, "This is my droid. Like, this is like all mine."
R2, D2,
D2.
R2D2.
Oh,
We were at
Disney
Disney
store.
Springs, and there was a woman with like an R2D2 little robot thing, and it was like
It was
rolling
crawling
around the ground,
and it wasn't listening to her.
and she
Talking
was
to it
acting
like
like
a
it was a
dog.
dog,
Yeah.
and we're just like, "Do you see this right now?" And she's like, "R2, come here, R2, R2, D2," and we're just like, "All right, let's get out of here. This is getting weird."
Yeah.
So yeah, those
Slap.
weird little figures.
Another thing that I had a problem with the movie, and this goes back to like the character thing, is like the guy who left the Empire pilot or something like that. It's kind of hinted that
Don't know his name either.
Yeah, like I said, like you don't really know a lot
But
of the
he
characters'
died.
names.
He died for the guy he sent the message.
Yeah,
for.
this is what I'm getting at.
He died for Jin's death.
Yeah, this is what I'm getting at here. It's hinted that he has like a friendship with Jen's dad in the movie, but
Even though they're dead.
that's never shown. That's never shown whatsoever. I think it would have been better if we like saw footage of them in the same room.
We only know from what like was told because he was sent by him. So.
And then like the last thing that he says when he dies is like, what does he say?
It was for his name.
Yeah, for exactly. We can't remember any of these characters' names because we're not really emotionally invested in them.
Like I'm sure if we saw it a second time, we would kind of vaguely remember them, but it's still. I don't think that we were supposed to remember their names. We were
exactly,
supposed to
they
remember
died.
Because they all died.
They all died. So it would have been like really
Unless-
pointless to be heavily invested in them because they all died. Like that's what I'm saying. Like this is more story driven than it is character driven because the director went into it knowing that okay, these characters are gonna die. They're not gonna be the original trilogy. We're just gonna focus on the story really. Like that's all that's happening here. So
it's kind of like also if Disney wants to get like an audience coming in for to see Star Wars and stuff.
And
it was
theme park.
I think that it was like a filler story.
Yeah.
Because like
to fill like some plot holes, kind of.
The
like,
Force Awakens was more like the audience grabber when they said, "Oh, come back! We got Han Solo.
Yeah.
We got these new characters. They're really awesome."
Yeah. The thing is with the Force Awakens is that movie had characters.
They had Chewbacca too.
Yeah, but not just like old characters. The movie provided us with new characters that we actually really enjoyed.
And it continues the story.
We enjoyed Rey. We enjoyed Finn. We want to see them in Episode 8.
They're cool.
We want to see Luke, but at the same time, that movie wanted us we wanted more Rey and Finn.
I would say that Jyn is not as powerful as a character as Rey. She wasn't as determined.
And another thing I didn't like was there was no Jedis or anything. Like, yeah, I know
there was no Force either.
Like, there's not supposed to be because, like, the Force is like gone away and everything, and that's like
the Jedi are kind of like dying
that's what
off.
It's about.
Yeah.
And anyway, like, it's like there should still be something kind of feel like Star Wars rather than just some like classic characters like the troopers and stuff.
Well, I think what this movie was, and I kind of agree with you.
It expands on the universe for sure,
yeah,
and gives us more planets,
but
they destroy them.
Yeah, but
they're all gone.
The thing with this movie is it's more focused on the army and military kind of corner of the Star Wars universe. Like, I mean, I get what you're saying. Like, you wish that there was like more Jedi in there and more Force stuff, but I feel as though the whole point of this movie was to focus more on the Stormtroopers and the Rebel Alliance.
I feel like this movie was made for the super fans who can really appreciate it, and those who know all about this stuff from like the comics and the books and
Even
stuff.
though, I mean, it was actually kind of disappointing because it didn't feel a lot like a Star Wars movie.
It didn't. It was more like a beautiful space movie.
It was like a movie
with good
based on what was like actually happening rather than based on the legends. Like Luke, he was talking about the legends and everything, and in the very first episode 1, Anakin's talking about the angels and the Jedi and everything, and it's like this movie is based on the reality and like the pure evil of the Empire, and I feel like we should have saw the Emperor. I feel like we should see more of the bad guys.
That was hinted a lot. We didn't see that.
Because I feel like Rogue One was supposed to take it down, but it was too easy. They jumped on the freaking database easily, and the guy magically falls on a platform, and survives and somehow gets up and saves Jin. And it's like, it was so impractical.
Yeah, he like broke his back.
It was good and it was bad.
Let's talk about that CGI character.
Oh yeah,
Lei,
the CGI
or the Imperial
the governor guy.
The governor.
See, like,
yeah, they did.
It
Leia
was
too,
good
but-
CGI. Like, I mean, like if you know the character,
It looked like the Clone Wars.
it's
character.
cool. It looks just like him. But it's then again, it's like, all right. For those people who don't know who he is, it's kind of like, this guy looks so CGI right now. It's like it's so
But
obvious.
I thought,
it's like the
I
Twilight
thought it was
baby.
impressive. Like, I thought it was impressive that they could combine stuff like that. Like when they did the movie A Christmas Carol, going back to, because this is Disney, like they had that art form, but then they took a fake character, like something that's not really there, put it on something that was there, and then put it in a world that was there, like they did for Captain America, which is really cool.
Yeah, but it just didn't seem as realistic to me, personally. Like, I could definitely see, as soon as
Honestly,
I saw him the first time, I knew he was CGI.
It took me a while to figure it out. Like, when I saw Leia, I thought for sure they recasted her, and I was like, this is beautiful, but then I was like,
no,
oh, wait.
No way. She was
No,
so CGI.
this is just a different person. So it was really cool, though. I thought it was really creative on their part.
You know, it'd be kind of cool if they actually did a whole movie just that's CGI. Like
Maybe that's what they'll do for
for
Han
episode
Solo
4.
movie.
Yeah,
that'd be cool.
Well,
like,
with the Han Solo movie, they've actually like casted someone to play.
I know, but still, they could change some stuff.
Yeah, they could.
I mean, they casted Chris Evans for Captain America, but they put him on a different body.
But I get what you're saying. But like overall, like I think like this movie does have a lot of problems with like characters and the background and stuff like that. It's visually cool. The story is cool. I like how it's connected to episode 4 and how like it ends where episode 4 begins. And I like how they added Leia in there. Like
that was cool.
Even though it was CGI looking, it looked definitive to what she looked like in the original like movie. I really liked that.
And it sounded
looked cool,
good too.
but here's the thing with me too, is that like the way they made this movie it looked very modern compared to like.
But when they used their old
when
footage,
they showed the old footage, it was so different.
Yeah, but when they showed it with a purpose. Like it was in the binoculars and then in the cockpits, pits. So it was like you're looking through the windshield or you're looking through the binoculars, and that's what it looks like. And I thought that was really cool. Like I think they used some space, but I definitely know they used footage through the binoculars.
Look, during that scene where like it was like the X-wing fighters, and you could just tell that they were trying to mimic like that 70s look because the pilots had like 70s mustaches and stuff.
It was good.
It was like you look like a pedophile. Like
it was still really
like,
cool.
Yeah,
no,
like,
it was
felt
good though.
Good.
And like
it felt good to watch.
you could somewhat be like, wait a second, is this stock footage or is this like?
Yeah, I couldn't tell. Like
now
so,
thinking back to this movie, since we're talking about the space fight.
Yeah.
So the Death Star appears where they are, right there fighting. They get the plans. They could have taken down the Death Star
like,
then
right
and there, but they didn't. So I mean,
so they're gonna build another one.
It didn't really like make sense on that part because they had the plans in two ways. They had it on a digital form and a physical form, and they went with the physical form with Leia because they wanted to make more movies.
The thing is,
and I know George Lucas wasn't thinking about Rogue One.
Listen. The thing is though, they didn't know what was on those plans yet. They didn't know. I guarantee, like when they opened those plans up. And they found that all they had to do is shoot through a hole. I bet they were just like,
well, no,
but,
like,
hold on a second. I bet they were just like,
now I know why it was
that's
so
it?
easy.
No, when
Like-
they got the digital plans on the ship, it showed the Death Star and it showed the weak point.
Yeah.
And then he's like, "Oh, we got the plans.
Yeah,
Let's
but
put it on a
the thing is though, you're not going to be able to attack the Death Star when you're already being attacked by other like TIE
They
fighters.
did it in the movie though. They did.
I know,
it in the
but
movie
like
when
in
they
episode 4, okay, they went out with like a whole bunch of X-wing fighters and they planned their attack. They went to the Death Star. They couldn't have just done that on the spot.
They didn't plan this attack though.
No,
they
Rogue One just went by themselves.
Yeah,
without
they did not
at all.
plan to take down a freaking Star Destroyer and have it cut another Star Destroyer in half.
Yeah, but I'm
was like
saying
the Titanic.
that like this mission was specifically to get the plans and transfer them, and the mission that you're referring to in episode 4 is to attack the Death Star.
The mission was to extract Rogue One.
Extract Rogue
It
One.
was to save Rogue One because they were in distress, and then they were like, if we can open up that shield, then we can get the plans, so it's a win-win.
Right.
The original plan was to extract Rogue One because they sent out a distress signal.
Okay, all right.
Right.
And then they switched their plan when they got there.
Well,
and
the good thing about this movie, though, is that it explains how they got the plans to destroy the Death Star.
Like I liked,
which was the purpose of the whole movie.
Yeah, they did.
And they did a good job on
it.
that.
Yeah, they did a good job with that. Yeah.
Everything else sucked.
It was still good visually. The cinematography was really beautiful.
It was a good movie.
I like the rays. I like the rings around the planet, which is really cool.
when they opened up, I was kind of disappointed on the opening, but
they didn't play the theme song.
And then they changed the theme song and they changed the battle.
They didn't have the crawl.
They didn't say Star Wars. They just said Rogue One.
Yeah.
I wish it could have been like Star Wars, then Rogue One, but no, it's just like.
And I think it was a different composer too, because it didn't sound like.
Yeah, it was a different composer.
No,
it wasn't
John Williams.
It wasn't John Williams. It was a different composer. Yeah, this is not John Williams. You could tell that with the music they were trying to mimic the original music, but like it was like da 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 da. Oh wait.
New notes.
Like, yeah, new notes. It was like they were like using like the first 3 notes, and then they would use like a totally different note. And I'm like, you're just trying, but you're afraid to try.
And
like
they didn't even say a Star Wars story. It just said Rogue One.
Yeah.
And we kind of like, well, we already knew it was a Star
Yeah, and there was
Wars
no
movie,
prelude to it either.
Yeah.
Which is
There was no yeah, that's what I was saying. There's no crawl.
I think that's because like the whole movie is a prelude.
Yeah.
I know,
The
but still,
whole
they could have
thing.
been like, Jin is lost on this planet of blah 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 blah.
But we didn't
But
know
her parents are.
that. We don't even know who Jin is.
I know,
until
but
we
it doesn't.
see Jin.
I know, but like, still, they said that about like all the other movies. You know, we don't know who they are before we see.
You
them.
know, I think that's why
Or
we
we
weren't.
don't even see
I think
them
that's
at
why
all.
we weren't heavily invested in her because like there wasn't a crawl to explain what was going on with her.
To be completely 100% honest, I've never read one of those. Like, I've never.
Are you
Like,
serious?
when I see Star Wars movies, like, I'm like so hyped. I the only one I ever actually read was for Episode 7 because I didn't really know what to expect with it.
Right.
But
Well,
like,
what's the point of it? It's to give you like.
I saw.
a little
I read
summary
it.
of
I
what's
read it
going
for
on.
Phantom Menace, and I read it for Episode 7, and that's it. Because Phantom Menace was actually the first Star Wars movie I ever saw.
Well,
So.
Okay.
you better read them now.
So,
Edit that out.
is there like anything else that we should cover? Like, was there anything that we left out in regards to?
Here. Just a second.
What are you doing?
I'm getting Darth Vader.
Okay.
We're gonna talk about the anatomy of Darth Vader.
No, we're
in this
not.
movie.
No, we're not.
So his eyes were red, and they were slanted, and that was pretty annoying. This was not there.
That was gone. Yeah.
It was more like this, and his helmet. His helmet went over the cape. It didn't blend in with anything else, and he had cloth, not leather. And this was not there.
That wasn't there either.
And this was just huge. Like it took up like his whole chest.
Yeah,
and,
but it didn't even have all those buttons on either.
And he didn't have this. It was covered up by his ginormous cape. He like look at this cape. It's nice. It's sleek and it's cool. In this movie, it was like it covered his whole body. It was like a giant robe. And they talked about the Emperor, but we never saw the Emperor.
Yeah.
Like. So no one really would know who the Emperor is until they see him in a different movie, and they don't even really know who he is in this movie, because they just say his name, like, oh, the Emperor wouldn't like that. We don't know it's a guy that goes like this. I mean, we don't know that, and I think they should have really done that.
We did get one thing that was pretty awesome out of this movie. When we were leaving the movie theater,
Don't fall.
we went through.
Don't fall.
We're not gonna talk about that.
Yeah, we are.
No, we're not. We're
I'm
not
talking
gonna...
about this.
So-
So one cool thing came out of this, which is pretty funny. When we were leaving, we went through like the hallway exits, you know, to get out. But we were in a mall, so we went went to the storage room.
We
Like,
kinda
where
got
are
lost.
we? And we went to another exit. We went to like the back hallways in the mall that pretty much every mall
And it
has.
smelled like really old popcorn and
Yeah, and then we saw like this little stand thing with.
It was
this
like a
guy just chilling there, and we're like,
And this
huh.
is actually for the opening
It's
night
for-
of Star Wars Force Awakens.
it says line starts here, Force Awakens. So we were like, huh, there's 2 of these things here.
Let's just
take
them.
them.
so
I just took them and we pretty much walked right out. Like,
Yeah.
no, whatever.
Yeah.
So something good came out of the movie, and that was 3 posters.
And Darth Vader. I mean,
Yeah,
Darth Vader.
and the
Darth
very
Vader.
last scene, like I
Yeah.
teared up. It was so good.
It was really good.
Last scene was pretty awesome.
When Darth Vader
and,
was just killing those
I
guys.
just kind of think it would be funny if like the guy just didn't handle up, and then be like, here, take it, and then they just didn't do it, and like, just totally
Or just
boggles
cut
us.
the hand
Just
off.
cuts off the hands.
God.
And you'd be like, no!
I am your father. I am all of your fathers. The clone troopers, I made all of them.
Wait,
with my own
it could be
semen.
like this. It could be like, in this movie,
What is that? What is? Oh, is that Thumb Wars?
Yeah.
You have that?
It could be like,
Oh my god.
I am your mother.
God.
Better
good
cut this
movie.
I
part out.
can't believe you have that. We should watch that like after the.
Okay.
I'm not watching.
We'll do a review on this next time.
Alright. Alright guys, so that was our spoiler review of Rogue One, A Star Wars Story. Comment down below what you thought of this movie, if you've seen it yet, what you think about like our thoughts. Like the video, share it, and please subscribe.
And if you don't want to see it after watching...
interrupted me.
I know, but if you don't want to see it after this, I highly encourage you to go see it, because everyone's opinion is different, and I do think this movie was
It was
very
good.
well done.
No
It was
matter what,
good,
it's good.
yeah. It has problems with characters, but the story is really, really cool.
If you're a
Like,
Star Wars fan,
yeah.
you'll probably like it.
Yeah, so like the video, share it, and please subscribe to PixelTalk if you haven't yet for more movie reviews, trailer reactions, gaming content, and so on. Thank you guys so much. I'm Corbin.
And like it. Like it.
Like it,
What are your-
subscribe to him.
Say your names.
I'm Dylan.
You're not Dylan, that's
Spoil it. Alright,
I'm Jacob Wells.
You can like and subscribe to the video. Follow us. You can follow me at Alternative Indian. My name's Dylan. This is Jacob. He's got J-Wade Productions. And this is Corbin. This is the channel we're on right now.
This is PixelTalk.
And thanks for having us.
Yeah, no
Thanks
problem,
for having us
bro.
on the show.
High fives.
And you're welcome for letting me use your... you can
Yeah,
use
this is Jacob.
Alright. Bye, guys.
Alright,
See you, dudes.
thanks.